Adam, when we talk about England and when we talk about what we hope to see for England, we will often go, well, the midfield has to be Rice, Bellingham, Foden, because Foden's playing century. Like, it's all very well to say that. Like, that doesn't happen. Like, that just doesn't happen. And do you know what? On some level, we find many reasons to slate Southgate, and Southgate gets a really harsh rap by a lot of people, but certainly on this show gets a hugely harsh rap, often by me, but I get it. But I don't even think he's wrong there. I would play that. I would play Foden, Bellingham, Rice. But I'm not a football manager. I doubt many football managers would. You need a bit of balance, don't you? You need...
It feels like one as well that kind of needs some work on. And it's hard to...
do that at tournaments. Yeah, you don't have time with the players.
But then that's the thing with Southgate. He doesn't ever feel like he's experimenting when he's got the chance to. You know what I mean? Remember when England had the Nations League and kind of just got relegated, but it was just
same teams all the time. Yeah. But surely, if you want to shoehorn Foden in, and maybe you should shoehorn Foden in because he's the best player in the country, maybe you have to play him out of position, which is wide left.
I don't mind that. Especially when you consider...
But then who plays centrally?
Dropped off. Grealish's form's dropped off this season.
So it'd be Foden on the left, but then we're back to this everlasting Declan Rice plus Jude Bellingham plus who makes
and it's always the same names popping up. Henderson, Phillips. It's not very inspiring.
It can't be either of those.
And that's why you go Kobbie Mainoo.
I think the contenders for me, Conor Gallagher. I think Kobbie Mainoo is a contender. Like, I really do. I think he's a brilliant player, and I like the idea of putting him in the team.
It'd be a good test for him, maybe not against. If we got to the cup final against City, tore it up or something, or against Chelsea.
I mean, he was brilliant against Liverpool recently in the cup.
Yeah.
So I think that we've seen there's enough of a track record of Kobbie Mainoo to suggest it. It's just it's a little bit of a punt, and I think that Southgate might like the idea of sticking with somebody a little bit more tried and tested. But we'll see. We've got big fixtures coming up.
Yeah, Brazil and Belgium will rank like 1 and 2 for a long time in the top 3, 4.
Really misleading that, isn't it?
Yeah, Belgium is, yeah.
Belgium, imagine that. Roberto Martinez, one of the most average managers at the Premier League. When there was a lot of hype around Martinez, certain managers I've just never got. And even when I've looked wrong, I remember I went very early on the Brendan Rodgers thing. It's like, this geezer's rubbish. Yeah. And ultimately, I think I was kind of proved right. At least I remember when he was sort of being linked with Arsenal now. I was just like, no, he's not. He's had his moment at Liverpool. He capitulated and he's not going to get a job like that again. And I don't believe he will. I remember when Roberto Martinez, so average. He won that cup, didn't he, with Wigan? And people kind of totally reframed who he is.
You forget he's Portugal manager now.
I know. With Henry.
How does he keep getting these good jobs?
Never has anybody failed upwards more than that geezer. Fails upwards all the time. Mate, he's gonna flop with Portugal and he'll end up in the Liverpool job. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yo, people, apologies for interrupting your video, but Super 6 are giving away £1 million. Yes, if you get 6 football predictions correct, you could be in a chance of winning £1 million. And guess what? It's all for free. Yes, you can get involved for absolutely nothing. The link is in the description below. Download the Super 6 app. You have to be 18 and over. T's and C's do apply. But of course, free to play. Get your 6 predictions in. And if you get them right, it could be you winning £1 million. Yes, absolutely incredible stuff. So get involved with Super 6 and make sure that you're in with a chance, because it could be you. Anyway, enjoy the rest of this video. Yeah.
But no,
Branthwaite got called up though.
Branthwaite got called up, which is huge. I think it was correct, and it does show that Gareth Southgate is at least open to a little bit of
because he could be that left side centre back, couldn't he? I like Branthwaite. I want him at United, man.
Yeah. I feel like maybe. I think it's early. I think you're right from everything that we've seen. It's just we've seen players. They need to. I prefer there to be 2 years of this, not.
I hear what you're saying.
6 months.
I think because he had the loan at PSV.
Yeah.
Albeit PSV.
Yeah.
In the era, people kind of look at
it's the Dutch league.
A bit, it
but look, ultimately,
which we've seen this weekend produce some absolute quality, like Anthony.
It is exciting what's going on with England, and I think the squad that we have assembled is
your boy Gordon got called up though, and
my boy,
because you like Gordon.
I did, yeah. I
did.
I did. I liked him as a player. Chelsea were heavily linked with him, but. I really didn't like the way that he wasn't there for Everton. I stopped liking him for non-footballing reasons, which is ridiculous for a football.
It's like when he was getting chased out of Goodison Park and that.
He wasn't there for his club. They're meant to be his boys. And I just thought it was so slippery from him.
Especially when they didn't go down
I know.
to leave. You know, when they go down, you kind of go...
I think you can, even if they stay up, there's a world in which you, like, I thought, of all the people that did it well, I know he gets a little bit of stick, but I thought Jack Grealish did very well leaving Villa.
I got him back up, stuck around for a bit.
Got him back up, then saved it. Do you remember the last day of the season? His goal kept him in the league. Then they got 100 million quid.
Yeah.
And I know, look, Villa fans, I'm sure, will be getting annoyed with me here, and I totally concede. I'm from the outside looking in here. I don't know the club. I don't know the ins and outs of the club. I don't know how you feel about it, and I could be totally wrong. But I feel like he did his bit, Grealish, and maybe Villa fans will disagree. I feel like Gordon, and again, Evertonians will have to tell me if I'm wrong, but I just felt like he hung him out to dry. You know, when they needed him. So I went off him a bit, but I did rate him. Do you know why I rate him, mate? If there is a failing in this England squad, and you could make a case for Rashford here, do you know what we are? We're a bit slow. Like, people will probably be going, Kyle Walker's quick. I'm like, yeah, I know, but not in that position. Declan Rice is quick over ground. He's quick like a giraffe's quick. Do you know what I mean? Like, he gets moving, he covers a lot of ground. And if you're having a race over 150 metres, he probably wins. But I don't think he wins over 4 metres, which is what football is. Gordon's rapid. Rashford is rapid. And I think there's a place in our squad, particularly for somebody up front.
Especially at international level.
Well, because no one else is fast. Saka's got a burst, but do you know what I mean? He don't burn people on the outside. Harry Kane, not rapid. Jude Bellingham, I don't think he's especially rapid. Phil Foden is very sharp, but again, not rapid. So I do think there's a world in which Gordon could feature.
You kind of got into it a little bit on the weekend stream, but we never got to, because we were kind of distracted by the game. You've got some opinions on Ben White at the moment. Now, for people that don't know, Ben White has basically informed Gareth Southgate that he isn't available for international duty. A complete flip reverse, shout out Blazing Squad, to the likes of David Beckham, who is still available for international duty and will refuse to ever retire from it. How do you feel about Ben White, Ro?
I hate him. I hate him. I think he's a horrible little drip, and I think he should never have the opportunity to play for England again. I don't know who thinks he is. He's having a very good season. I think he could contribute to England. I think you could actually make a case that he should play for England alongside Stone's centre-half, play him out of position. You know, he's been playing right back very well. Arguably Arsenal's best player since they got back from Dubai. You know, this calendar year, he has been basically unplayable. And he is one of the main reasons why they are top of the league. But he should never play for England again. He said something, and I think Gareth Southgate said something, which was along the lines of, the door remains open. It certainly shouldn't. It certainly shouldn't.
Do you think that's a diplomatic thing from a manager who knows he's not going to be here to deal with that?
Maybe,
in
but
the future?
Gareth Southgate, I think, should be saying, while I'm here, he don't play for England ever again. You set the tone here. Who do you think you are? What do you mean you turned down England?
Do you think that's part of like this England camp being a nice place to work, where they kind of do it?
Maybe, but if Southgate leaves after this tournament, which, remember, he said he was going to leave after the last one, so I think it's fair to say that he will definitely go this time. I think whoever comes in next needs to say to everyone, blank slate, you start again. It's a blank slate for everyone. Apart from you, you're not included. You'll never play for England again while I'm...
Is the quality of the player not coming to that?
No, because the principle is more important than the quality of the player. Look, I don't care if it's Wayne Rooney. Yeah. Like, do you know what I don't understand as well? You know, when you think about some of the players that have played for England and had to endure a lot, David Beckham is a very good example. Wayne Rooney is a very good example. They have had to put up with so much, but they've always done everything that they could for their country. John Terry obviously had huge amounts of grief. And there was a time where people were actually suggesting that Wayne Bridge should be playing for England ahead of him. Always did everything for his country. You then got the boys who have been brilliant and never got an England cap. You know, the players that have been like wicked footballers, and for one reason or another, like, I've got a lot of friends who are West Ham fans. They always bang on about Billy Bonds. Never played for England. I don't know Billy Bonds, but I know he never played for England because it was like a travesty that he never got that England cap. Would have done anything to play for England, never got it. You look at like Chelsea's greatest ever player, Peter Osgood, because of the brilliance that England had up front. He never really got it, but would have done anything to play. And then you've got this little drip over Arsenal telling anyone that will listen, he don't want to play for England. Have you seen the state of this bloke? That's the other thing. Like, I can't believe that he would have the audacity to say, I don't want to play for England. Even if you aren't, say you're not patriotic about England, just say you're not, right, which, you know, is completely fair enough, I guess. If you don't want to play for England because you're not a patriot, don't you just want to play with Phil Foden and Jude Bellingham? Don't you just want to be part of this amazing, don't you want to play football?
Also, there's a tournament coming up. It's not like you're going to be going out to needless friendlies, which I kind of get sometimes.
And he'd play.
Yeah.
The thing is with him, he'd play. Because some people will be going, like, in a very simplistic way, they'll go, well, he won't get in the team ahead of Alexander-Arnold and Kyle Walker. Probably true. But he'd get in a team over Maguire, wouldn't he? As centre-half. He'd be an option. So I think it's really piss poor. Do you know, I just said Alexander-Arnold there, and I just suddenly thought, you know, when we were discussing, just to go full circle here, you know, when we were discussing the midfield, is it potentially Alexander-Arnold, Bellingham, Rice,
I don't think he starts.
Arnold?
The only game he's ever played is Malta, so I don't think he starts.
Interest. Maybe he could play against the Brazil and maybe play central midfield.
But I mean, at least he's made himself available, eh?
There we go. Silly little drip.
As you can
get
see,
a spray tan. Loves it, doesn't it?
One of the weirdest thing about that as well is it's such, like you kind of alluded to it there when you mentioned Beckham and Rooney and Terry, but it's such a nice England camp to be a part of that it doesn't feel like it carries the baggage of previous years. But maybe he just doesn't.
Think how Rio Ferdinand was treated by England at that. Do you remember that? You know, that was the FA. That was the FA that did that. Rio Ferdinand would always like do his best for England. Was brilliant for England. I don't understand how you can have that opportunity and not want to play. It's like when he said he didn't like football as well. Attention-seeking little div.